Do you know that uncomfortable feeling of thinking problems only happen to other people? Well, when it comes to osteoporosis, many people think that way until reality comes knocking. The truth is, nearly half of American women over 50 will experience a bone fracture due to osteoporosis during their lifetime. That's right. Almost 1 in 2 women could face this challenge, and here's something that deserves your full attention. It's not just women who need to be vigilant. Men can also suffer from this silent condition. Still, women, especially after menopause, are at higher risk. Maintaining good bone health is crucial, not just to avoid pain, but also to ensure independence and quality of life at any age. Imagine this. A simple fall that would have only resulted in a minor bruise when you were younger could mean complicated bone fractures after age 50. Osteoporosis is no joke and doesn't choose when to strike. That's why taking care of your bones from an early age makes all the difference later on. But do you really know exactly what osteoporosis is and why it tends to appear so easily, especially after a certain age? Imagine your body as a well-built structure with strong bricks and sturdy cement. Osteoporosis is like these bricks gradually wearing down, making the whole structure fragile. Technically speaking, it's a condition that weakens bones, making them brittle and significantly increasing the risk of fractures, even from minor strains or seemingly harmless falls. This fragility doesn't happen overnight. Osteoporosis sneaks up quietly, without giving clear signs that something is wrong. It's like a silent leak that you only notice once it's turned into a flood. And that's where the danger lies. By the time symptoms finally appear, it's usually too late, and the damage is already done, seriously compromising bone health. But don't panic. Understanding your enemy is the first step toward defeating it. Knowing that osteoporosis is this gradual and silent weakening of bone strength is key to preventing the problem. And that's exactly why it's essential to pay attention to another lesser-known but very important term, osteopenia. After all, what's the difference between the two? Now pay close attention, because knowing how to differentiate between osteoporosis and osteopenia could be the key to taking better care of your bones before it's too late. Osteopenia is like an early warning sign from your body, a yellow alert indicating your bones have started losing density but haven't yet reached the severity of osteoporosis. In other words, it's the stage before the more severe disease. It's as if your bones are becoming slightly porous, a bit more fragile, but still not as brittle as in osteoporosis. Think of it this way. Osteopenia is that moment when the traffic light turns yellow and you need to decide whether to stop or speed up. If you accelerate, ignoring the signs and neglecting essential habits such as physical exercise and calcium supplementation, you might end up in a far worse situation. That's exactly why it's crucial to pay attention when your bone density test shows osteopenia. This is the perfect time to act, because osteopenia can be treated and even reversed with the right actions, preventing its progression to osteoporosis. But do you really know how this sneaky bone loss occurs in your body? You know, when we renovate an old house and need to tear down an old wall to build a new one in its place. That's precisely how your body works daily with your bones. Every single day, there's destruction and construction happening inside. The problem with osteoporosis occurs when the construction of new bone can't keep up with the speed at which old bone is removed. Normally, our body is very efficient in this process. However, as we age, especially after turning 50, the balance starts tipping in the wrong direction. The creation of new bone tissue drastically decreases, while bone loss continues at an accelerated pace. The result, fragile bones, like an old piece of furniture that over time can no longer support the same weight. And don't think it's only age that influences this process. Other factors like vitamin D deficiency, lack of physical exercise, and even certain hormonal conditions, such as decreased estrogen levels in women after menopause, can also accelerate this bone loss. But did you know that osteoporosis usually works silently, almost symptom-free, until something serious happens? Here's an important warning. Osteoporosis specializes in operating quietly. It hardly gives any prior notice before striking, rarely showing clear signs of its presence. Many people go years without realizing they have the disease until the unexpected occurs. That minor slip in the bathroom or a simple stumble on the carpet, and suddenly, there it is, the dreaded bone fracture. Unfortunately, these fractures go beyond just temporary discomfort or pain. They can completely transform a person's life, especially if they are elderly. A serious fracture, such as a hip fracture, can mean losing independence, difficulty walking, and trouble performing basic daily tasks, even leading to social isolation and depression, not to mention an increased risk of mortality. To help you understand better, imagine that beloved aunt who was extremely active tended her garden, went for morning walks, and after a femur fracture caused by osteoporosis, became dependent on others for almost everything. Nobody deserves to experience that, right? That's why it's so important to recognize the risk factors for this sneaky disease before it's too late. You know the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, when it comes to osteoporosis, that phrase has never been more true. Understanding the factors that increase risk is essential for proactive prevention. Women, particularly after menopause, are most affected by this issue, but men also need to stay alert, especially if they have low testosterone levels. In addition to being female and advanced age, there are other important factors to consider. For example, people with smaller bone structures or a family history of the disease are at higher risk. Habits such as smoking and excessive alcohol consumption also significantly weaken bones, making them more susceptible to fractures. So, anyone who enjoys a cigarette or an extra drink should start reconsidering these habits. Another crucial aspect involves hormonal and ethnic factors. Women who experience early menopause before age 45 need to be particularly cautious, as they have a higher likelihood of developing osteoporosis earlier. Additionally, Caucasian and Asian individuals naturally have a higher risk, although this doesn't mean other ethnic groups are completely safe. But do you know how to truly determine if your bones are strong or already weakening? Well, it's clear by now that osteoporosis doesn't really give many warnings before fully emerging, right? Therefore, you can't wait for your body to signal you before taking action. Bone densitometry comes into play precisely like a detective investigating before the crime occurs. This quick, safe, and painless exam accurately assesses bone density and identifies whether osteoporosis or osteopenia is already present. The general recommendation is that women over 65 and thin men over 70, especially those with risk factors, like family history or harmful habits, undergo regular bone density tests. But note, depending on the initial results, the frequency might vary. The essential thing is not to neglect this valuable evaluation that can literally save lives. Think of it as a regular car checkup. You don't wait for the engine to fail before heading to the mechanic, right? It's the same with bones. The ideal is to detect the problem while there's still time to fix it. Speaking of that, there are highly effective strategies that help strengthen bones and eliminate this silent threat for good. Want to find out what they are? If you're truly determined to strengthen your bones and prevent osteoporosis, it's time to start practicing some simple yet extremely effective habits. The first is to exercise regularly, especially moderate impact activities like brisk walking, dancing, or light weightlifting. Think of this as a daily investment in strengthening your bone health. Not to mention, it also boosts your mood. Another essential step is to abandon harmful habits like smoking and excessive drinking. Yes, I know it's not easy to give up that cigarette or beer at the end of the day, but think with me. What's more valuable? Enjoying small pleasures now or ensuring a healthy and independent life in the future. Moderating dairy intake and considering controlled calcium supplementation is also important. Last but not least, get that pleasant morning sunshine to boost vitamin D production. Just 15 minutes daily is enough. Additionally, strictly follow medical prescriptions, especially if medications like bisphosphonates are recommended. Now tell me, have you considered starting today to better care for your bones? Lastly, but just as importantly, get that pleasant morning sunshine to boost vitamin D production. Just 15 minutes daily is sufficient. Furthermore, rigorously follow medical prescriptions, particularly if treatments involving medications like bisphosphonates are recommended. And if you enjoyed these practical tips for protecting your bone health, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, activate the bell to not miss upcoming videos, and share this with someone special you know needs to hear it.